Have you ever noticed that when your relationships are struggling, everything in your life seems harder? You tend to focus on your relationship challenges, and it takes up a lot of emotional and mental space. This could be intimate relationships, relationships with your kids, your friends, your coworkers, your team. Any of those relationship challenges will take up mental space. So one of my pillars is win-win relationships because it's a foundation for success, or they can hold you back and keep you really stuck. Hi, I'm Dr. Amanda Barrientos, the founder of NFA Coaching and Max Potential Habits. Whether you're watching on a video through IGTV or YouTube or listening on a podcast, I'm so glad you're here. Today we're going to talk about relationships, and I'm going to teach you 3 win-win habits to help you create more thriving, connected, fulfilling relationships in any configuration. The first habit I want you to focus on is gratitude. So this is really important. If you're a person who tends to lean in the negative, you might have an issue with focusing on everything that's negative, bad, wrong in your relationship. And remember, what you focus on expands. So if you are hyper focusing on someone's flaws and all the negativity and the things that you don't like about them, that's going to expand. That's what you're going to see. That's what you're going to experience. That's what you're going to bring to the table with that person. So I want you to sit down and write a gratitude list for that person. I promise you, you can think of at least 1 to 50 things that they've done over the course of your relationship that you are grateful for. And look at it from 0 to the age you are today. Maybe it's a long-standing relationship. I want you to think of everything you can. This can be things that they've brought to you specifically, or lessons you've learned through being friends with them or acquaintances with them, colleagues with them. I want you to focus on gratitude for a little bit because it will help shift your perspective in a different direction and balance out your judgments and frustrations and resentments. So that's habit number 1. The second thing I want you to do is be a curiosity cat. I love this one because they say that curiosity killed the cat. Well, in relationships, the exact opposite is true. The more curious you are, the more you learn about the other person. We tend to make a lot of assumptions about other people. We make up a lot of stories about what we think why they're doing what they're doing. And it's usually projections and judgments, and these are based out of resentments and a lack of understanding. So in order to understand people around you, you've got to start to get curious. And I like to teach the people I work with this one phrase that works really well to help take people off the defensive, and that is, I'm curious. So when you are having an issue with someone, you want to interact with them and actually say, hey, I'm curious. You did this, this, and that, and I just want to understand why. Can you help me understand you more so that I can perceive this from a different perspective? Those conversations alone are going to have the person open up. They're going to be less defensive. They're going to want to share their insights with you. And then that way you actually can put it out all on the table and come to a place of understanding because you're not making assumptions anymore. So it increases clarity. It increases communication. It increases connection. So get curious. Be a curiosity cat. Ask questions. Ask, why did you do this? I don't quite understand. That's not the way I would have done it, but I want to understand why you're doing this. I want to understand why you're thinking and feeling this way. I want to understand why you do this and I don't do that. Just take a stance of curiosity and see how it goes. And number 3 is that I want you to know your non-negotiable needs and desires. This is critically important. It's the third habit that I want you to implement because a lot of times we expect people to read our minds. And we think that if we just complain a lot, they'll figure it out. Or we think that if we drop some hints here and there, they'll figure it out. Or we think that somehow if we're demanding or mean, they'll figure it out. But here's the thing. Usually we complain because we don't even know our own non-negotiable needs and desires. And so we expect the other person to read our mind and figure it out. This could be let's say it's in a work relationship and you keep doing all this extra work thinking it's going to get noticed, but no one ever notices. But it's your job to state what your needs and desires are. You've got to be be the one that comes to the table and says, hey, I want a raise. Hey, I want to advance. Hey, I want to be put in a different position. It's your job to come to your intimate partner and say, you know what? This is a non-negotiable for me. I have to have more hugs every day. I have to go on dates every week. I don't know what it is for you, but write it down and figure it out. This isn't to be demanding. It's so that you know yourself, so the other person can get to know you better, so you can connect on a different level. Think about desires and non-negotiable needs a little bit differently. So desires are things that you want and they make you feel fulfilled. And you think about creating kind of a desire list, like, ooh, I would really love to have this. But your non-negotiable needs are things that are non-negotiable. So let's say it's a job. Let's say you're searching for a job and you're applying to jobs around, I'm US based, so let's just say in the US, but there are certain locations that you would never be willing to live. That's a non-negotiable need. For me, I have to live somewhere where I can trail run every week. I love the sun. I'm a Colorado native, so I couldn't live somewhere where it was cloudy and rainy 75% of the year. I would probably get depressed, and that's a non-negotiable for me. So I would only look for jobs in areas where it's sunny a lot of the times and they have trails where I can run. In a relationship, it could be something like maybe you're someone who wants to have kids and the people you're dating want to have kids. Well, you're wasting a lot of time because that's not something that's likely to change. So know your non-negotiable needs and have them at the forefront of your mind, because it's easier to create a win-win relationship when you're coming together with people who are on the same page. So those are my 3 tips for today. And if you're getting something out of these, please take a screenshot. If you're listening on the podcast or watching on videos, take a screenshot, share it on social media. Help me help more people max their potential to thrive. I'll see you next week. Have an NFA day.